This is Hell on Wheels, Mackenzie Shirilla's double murder crash, and this is being brought to us by good old Law and Crime Network. All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's see what's going on here, man. Look how fast this car is going. Damn!
There's a car that smashed up against the building. The car.
Hold up. Make sure my oh, my bad. I had the speed going too fast. Hold up. Let's rewind that. It was going stupid fast. Hold up. Now we have it at normal speed. This is July 31st, 2022 at 5:40 in the morning. Like, how does that happen?
Southwest dispatch.
There's a car that smashed up against the building. And the car's crashed.
This car's split in two.
It truly was a horrific crash site.
There's an occupant inside. We gotta bust the window out. Now!
29.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Times 3, guys. Radio, 3 occupants.
3
Even
people.
though nobody really wanted this to be a terrible, horrible, purposeful homicide, it was. That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Right leg.
Jesus Christ. This is the worst I've ever seen.
Who drives into a building at 100 miles an hour on purpose?
Nah, that's crazy, bro.
This is what he's going to tell you.
Now, does somebody do that on purpose? That's the
In
question.
the first place to put a body.
No, sir.
The only thing they could do.
Because if you don't, but you know what's so crazy? The only person that survived was the driver. So was that intentional, or did she just lose control?
Strongsville is a suburb 15 miles outside of Cleveland. Nice little quiet suburb, a family community, a great place to live.
And it was that time of year, where the kids would go, everybody's having graduation parties. We knew Davion was out with some friends.
Davion? Is that one of the people that was in the car? Is this Davion too?
And was out with some.
Damn, she has some gorgeous green eyes. Is that green? Damn, her eyes are so bright. I've never seen the color so bright like that. Wow.
Friends.
Dominic, Mackenzie.
They were
Okay, these are all the people that was in the car. Was this like a well, no, this was in July. So I'm about to say, is this prom? This picture is probably from prom, but not the day of the incident, because the incident was in the middle of, it was the end of July. Damn.
were just hanging out.
They all were planning on staying the night. They woke up close to 5 o'clock in the morning. Mackenzie was driving, Davion Flanagan was in the back seat, and Dominic Russo was in the passenger seat. She uses her blinker, she slows before the turn.
58, 59 seconds later, this car like a missile.
What happened?
This happened on a Sunday morning early, and it was 45 minutes before a passerby noticed the crash.
Southwest dispatch.
There's a car that smashed up against the building. She smashed the sign and hit the building. The car's crashed.
That's crazy, bro.
It truly was a horrific crash site.
This car's split in two. Radio, there's an occupant inside. Send us a squad now.
nothing prepares you for what you see on that body cam.
We gotta bust the window out. Send us some more units.
Any more units to progress now, Anita?
Now!
29.
31's one up.
Yo, what kind of glass is
This is
that?
not a fresh accident either. She's been here for a while.
What kind of glass is that? That shit is not breaking. Yo, what kind of glass is that?
Radio, we got at least 2 occupants in here. No one's moving. Oh my God. Oh my God. Times 3, guys. Radio, 3 occupants. No one's conscious.
This is why I always rather drive my
No
own
one's
car
breathing.
than drive with somebody else. Like, once I got my license
Bust that
and I got a
window
car, I just always wanted to be the
Both
one
Dominic and
driving.
Davion are lifeless.
Who can hear my voice? Drivers,
And people always say, oh, you
radio,
drive like
the
a
driver
grandpa, you drive slow.
is
But I
breathing,
drive safe,
unconscious.
bro.
Radio, they're gonna need full extraction on all 3. Oh, man.
Not good, not good. Let me see your knife. Let's cut this thing out.
This is bad, guys. She's alive. We got to get her out somehow. To try to get her out? Oh, dude, I don't know if we can.
Mackenzie is inside of the vehicle. She's trapped underneath the dashboard.
Driver, 17-year-old female, still breathing, wedged in there.
She had to be extracted by jaws of life.
Okay.
Right leg.
She had a broken leg, several broken ribs. She was life flighted.
I'll cut you loose. What? Oh, that's fine by me.
I truly still do not know how Mackenzie survived that crash.
I know. Jesus Christ. This is the worst I've ever seen.
Wow.
They found Dominic and Davion not wearing seatbelts.
Yep.
They were sort of stacked on top of one another, laying from the front passenger seat through to the rear driver's side seat.
Davion and Dominic were killed instantly.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Damn.
This is gonna be just a nightmare of a day for this whole department.
No
They
seatbelt.
called me on the phone right around lunchtime, and the police detective asked, if I was the father of Davion Flanagan, and said there had been a horrible crash.
Wait, isn't Davion like the Spanish-looking one? You the pappy?
And that our son didn't make it. And that was just a gut punch.
He was the oldest of a sibling group of 3 that we adopted from foster care.
Okay.
He was also the starting running back for Strongsville High. We got the phone call, and that completely just changed our lives, demolished so many dreams.
Damn, bro. That sucks,
They
man.
went to see Mackenzie Shirilla in the hospital. They were taken aback by she and her parents' hesitancy to speak with them.
It's from her. Yeah. So whether or not she chooses to cooperate on advice of counsel, that's up to her.
The detective, he did record maybe a few minutes, just audio of her interacting with the detective and her mother.
The crime we're investigating is an aggravated vehicular homicide ×2. I do want you to know that a lot of people are coming to us and reporting things. And so usually,
yes, I was told that.
Usually the most accurate information we're gonna get is from her. If there's
Can I say something to her?
Yes.
She speaks to her mother in a unique language.
Yes.
he's using TZC, he's always like Jesus teasing.
It's a gibberish or a distortion of the English language. It's kind of like pig Latin.
He's always like Jesus teasing. He's like, who's the least I season these and we say you can.
Can we tell the police I had a seizure? Can we tell the police something like that? One of the first things that the girl.
What? What? Yo, wait. So mom and daughter have like the secret language, some pig Latin. What? Yo, what is this? This is different.
Said to the detective was instantly, can't you just take my driver's license away for 10 years?
Yeah, like, can I just like take my license away for like 10 years or something like that? Like, I don't even.
She's feeling some kind of guilt here. So that instantly starts making us think that this is not an accident.
Mackenzie's social media.
I mean, even if it was an accident, I think you will still naturally feel guilty because you were the one driving. I mean, if you are driving a car and a car accident happens, I mean, and somebody obviously loses their life over your driving, even if a deer came out and you hit the deer or swerved out the way of the deer and hit a tree and the passenger happens to die in the process, I think you'll still feel guilty. I don't think it necessarily means that you intentionally caused it. Now, in her situation, we don't know. We're gonna find out, but I guess, I mean, the way she's acting, I can't just say, "Oh, she's guilty" just because she feels guilty. Just because she feels responsible or feels some level of guilt, especially if she's the one that drove.
Offered a possible clue.
I'm not even cool. I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die.
This was a person who regularly smoked marijuana and drove her car under the.
I mean, I know plenty of people that do that. I wouldn't say that's the reason why they crashed.
Influence of marijuana. They did find in her clothing, I think it was around 7 grams of psilocybin mushrooms that tested positive for a controlled substance.
But the toxicology reports for Mackenzie indicated the levels for the mushrooms and the marijuana were not a likely factor.
The detective immediately filed a search warrant for her medical records and discovered that she had not reported any sort of blacking out, any sort of neurological failure. You realize there's no medical reason for this, that wasn't the cause. The next thing they looked at was, did the Toyota Camry suffer some sort of mechanical failure
malfunction
that led to this crash? So we had what's called a forensic mechanic go out and inspect that car. And he took apart the steering components, he looked at the suspension, the braking systems, the accelerator, and he determined that the Toyota Camry did not contribute to the crash through any sort of mechanical failure.
The first break in the case came from a grief-stricken friend of Davion, Tyler Croy.
I was just kind of shocked, really. I didn't really know how to process it all. And just knowing Davion, I just felt like there was more to the story than just an accidental crash.
Using an app called Life 360, Tyler and Davion and a few other friends.
Yeah, I've seen so many videos where this Life 360 app helps them to solve a crime. I don't know what this app is, but apparently a lot of kids be having this. I don't know if it's to track your friends or something, but I've seen this app be used in a lot of crime investigations.
Were regularly tracking each other's phones.
Wherever Davion or anyone else in that circle went, it would just ping their exact location. So I basically just went back and looked at like the previous night. It showed that the car hit a top speed of like 90 miles per hour and there was no effort to like hit the brakes. We just decided to show that to the cops because we felt like that could help them like investigate it a little better.
This was kind of the first time that.
Hey, what up, Nell? What up?
That the police department had really got a grasp on how fast Mackenzie was driving. It really triggered them that something was not right here, something was off.
If it wasn't a mechanical failure, if it wasn't driving under the influence, what wasn't?
That's crazy, bro. So if she wasn't driving under the influence and she wasn't hitting the brakes and they said the car didn't fail,
grew up in Strongsville.
Then what
they
happened?
lived there. Their families lived there.
Welcome to the class of 2022 commencement ceremony.
And the crash came just a few weeks after two of them had graduated from the local high school.
Davion Markel Flanagan.
Wait, this is the crash happened. Was it 2 weeks after graduation?
Graduated from the local high school.
Davion. Welcome to the class of 2022 commencement ceremony.
And the crash came just a few weeks after two of them had graduated from the local high school.
Okay, a few weeks.
Flanagan.
We were really looking forward to him, finding his path, becoming a man.
Mackenzie Shirilla.
Classmates knew her as a kind of wild child.
Spotlight, hot nights, blue red and stoplight, ice lay, big swerve, big wheel, rich taste, I serve.
Mackenzie had no boundaries for herself, and her parents had no boundaries for her either.
Figure like a pin up, gotta figure like a doll. Don't care if you think I'm dumb, I don't care.
She felt like she was going to be the next big thing. Nobody loved Mackenzie better than herself.
Okay, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. But what does this have to do with her driving?
I wanna be adored, I'm the girl you die for.
360, big 360.
Okay.
The third person in the car, Dominic Russo, was a few years older and the boyfriend of Mackenzie.
Mackenzie was 17 and Dominic was close to 20, and they had been dating for several years at that point. They were living together, and Mackenzie was living there full time.
He was interested in music.
Wait, what she said? She said they were living together? What?
And Dominic was close to 20, and they had been dating for several years at that point. They were living together, and Mackenzie was living there full time.
They were living together, and Mackenzie was living there full time. What was the point of adding Mackenzie living there full time if they were living together? What's the difference? It's not like she just said the same thing twice.
He was interested in music. He was investigating a possibility of joining the military.
He really lived for Mackenzie. He did everything for her. When Mackenzie said jump, Dominic said how high.
And it started to fit with the picture of who Mackenzie Shirilla really was, which was an out-of-control high schooler, 17-year-old child.
Out of control.
Who was permitted to live with a 20-year-old man in his house while she was doing poorly in high school.
Spotlight, hot nights, blue red and stop.
I mean, what y'all think about that? If he's 20, she's 17, clearly they were probably in school together, right? So if they was in school together, I mean, you think just because he turned 18 that automatically that they got to stop dating? I don't think there's anything crazy about 20 and 17, because that means that when they was in school together, he was 18 and she was 15, you know? Or 14 and 17 or whatever, or 19 and 16. I don't think that's crazy. If it's like 17 and 27, then that might be looked a little bit more weird, depending on the rules of that state. If the state doesn't have a consent of, 17 being the medium or the lowest part of the age range, I guess. But 20 and 17, I think that's perfectly normal. I think that's perfectly fine, especially if they was dating from high school, from back when he was in the same school with her.
Her parents were following her on social media when she was posting these videos of herself wearing pretty much nothing, doing drugs, drinking, at college parties at 17. Her mom was liking these posts. Her mom supported it.
Hey, when I was 17, I was in college parties. Because technically I went to college when I was 17. So I was going to college parties where you had to be 18 in order to get in. And I used to find ways to get in. So
in fact, it
I can relate.
Mackenzie
I can relate.
Was still in the hospital.
They were Instagramming back and forth with some modeling company. She's in the hospital, having her mom reach out on her behalf, letting everyone know that this was just a tragic accident that she was in, more or less hoping to gain people's attention, using this as almost like propaganda for her modeling career.
The investigation had begun as a standard fatal traffic accident case assigned to a rookie detective.
He was doing everything he possibly could to try and turn over every stone to show that this was an accident. He didn't want this to be a double homicide.
But interviews with people who knew Mackenzie, including former boyfriend Tyler Proctor, only added to the evidence that this was no accident.
I mean, talking to former people that they were in relationships with, I mean, it's a good chance they might not have their best interests, and that's probably because they are former. They used to be together. I don't. I mean, there are certain cases where you could talk to an ex and they can give you some insight for sure as far as like behavior. And I've seen videos like that in the past where it actually was powerful information that was accurate. But sometimes you got to take it with a grain of salt because they might still be bitter because they are ex. They are an ex. They might not have wanted the relationship to end, so they might say anything, to get them in trouble because they might not care for their well-being anymore because maybe they got dumped. But so that's just a thought.
She like mentally just not all there. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think she's just mentally all there. Like I personally feel like she was trying to kill herself in that crash, and she failed on doing so. Is what I feel like, and I feel like she had no regard for Davion, and I feel like they got in an argument, her and Dom, and she threatened to kill him.
Getting into an argument with somebody at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, like you just woke up. Why are you upset?
So detectives wanted to know what was going on at the home where Mackenzie and Dominic Russo were living together in a contentious relationship.
You lied. You lied and said you would never lock me out of the house again. That is why we got back together last time we broke up.
Dominic recorded many of the angry fights.
Mackenzie, you broke up with me earlier. Because you are a little weak.
You broke up with me earlier. You literally broke up with me earlier.
This is your last chance to open the door, or you are not coming out of this house all night, because I will not leave.
Like, why would I just let you in my house if you break up with me and you're threatening to break my
No.
Like, you're threatening to key my car, threatening to break
I
the
will
doors.
key your car
like,
if you do not let me in the house.
you're gonna key my car if I don't let
If you don't let me in the house, yes.
They had broken up numerous times. They would
Nah, that toxic stuff, that toxic relationship stuff, that is not it, bro. That toxic stuff is not it. To be on some, I'm gonna key your car, I'm gonna break your stuff, like all of that, you gotta walk away from that immediately, bro. You gotta walk away from that immediately. I'm gonna break your stuff. No, that does not work, bro. Doesn't work. Oh, that's what you're gonna do? Okay, well, I'm gonna record that. I'm gonna send it to the police. I'm let them know. I'm gonna file a police report. Any damages to my car is gonna be blamed on you because you already threatened. That is not the move.
break up and then get back together. And I think that Dominic wanted to kind of move on from that. He was sick of the way Mackenzie was treating him.
You're gonna come open this door right now, or there's gonna be a serious problem.
I can't. No, like you can't keep that. You can't keep making all these threats. Like I can't
And you
open the
can't
door.
kick. I'm gonna break into your house then.
Dude, what? No, what the actual? Okay.
Now open the door.
In
Dom,
my
I will
house.
break. I will break. Do I have to like call the police?
Why? Why would you call the
Do I have
police?
to call the police? Or you're not gonna let me into my house?
No, let her call the police, bro. Let her call the police. Cause the way she's acting, they're gonna be siding with you.
This is not your house.
The calls themselves were so important because they showed us that dynamic. Dominic had said, I'm done. I'm gonna end it with Mackenzie, and this time it's gonna be for real. I want to move on. Dominic felt the pressure that Mackenzie was putting on him. He felt that threatening nature, and I truly believe that he felt at that time that she was going to harm him at some point.
It's okay. All I care about is you trying to end my life and put it in your hand on the steering wheel and trying to end it? What? Nah, this is too cuckoo for me, bro.
2 weeks before the crash, there was another blow-up as the couple drove along a Cleveland highway.
Dominic called his mother and said, Mackenzie is driving reckless. We are on the highway. She is, threatening me, and I need help. I need to get out of this car.
A friend went to pick up Dominic.
Wait, this was like 2 weeks before, and you still willing to go in the car while she's driving? What? if she threatened you before and said crazy things like she's trying to end your life or would be willing to or thought about it, and she's driving crazy and reckless and you feel unsafe in the car, you still find a way or find a reason to go back in that car. That would have been my last time in that car. Especially if you have your own car that you're worried about her keying, that means you don't need to be in her car. Wouldn't that mean that?
And he heard Mackenzie say, Dominic, I will crash this car. I swear I will crash this car.
Bro, that would be the last time you'll ever see me in the passenger seat of that car.
Davion was a shooting star, streaking across the night sky for too short a period of time.
You are so loved, and we are eternally grateful to have been chosen to be your parents.
The vigil, they lit those candles and they stayed there past midnight and they just spent the night. They refused to leave the crash site, mourning the loss of 2 innocent lives.
As friends and family mourned the deaths of Davion Flanagan and Dominic Russo, the parents were getting more unsettling news.
The detectives were the ones that kind of started hinting at it. They're saying they believe our son may have been murdered.
Damn.
It's almost unfathomable because who drives into a building at 100 miles an hour on purpose?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's one thing to lose him, but for it to have been an intentional act, that was really a whole new level to the grieving.
Yeah.
A whole new level to the trauma. Maybe 6 weeks after the crash, we received some flowers from the Shirilla family. I did receive a text message. I would never do this. This was a terrible accident.
Okay.
Make some noise!
And Mackenzie's social media posts added to the pain.
Mackenzie went with her best friend to Ohio University's Halloween and just really blasted herself all over social media. She had dressed up as a zombie, where she was wearing next to nothing, showing zero remorse for anything that had just happened. In no way, shape, or form did she look like she was sad or injured.
So she was wearing some crazy
or really
stuff.
had any care for any consequences of what lied ahead.
This wasn't a girl who was sitting at home weeping like her mother said. She was out partying with her friends and in the most classless way possible.
I mean, she looks crazy here, bro. She looks crazy.
In a text exchange, Mackenzie told,
I did not do this on purpose. If I knew any of this would have happened, I would have made sure it was me.
Dominic's mother, it was just an accident.
So what happened? What was the last thing you remember? I remember turning on the street. And then my vision fades to black. It really kills me not being able to remember anything. I promise I would tell you. Why would it fade to black? Like what would have caused you to fade to black?
It's difficult for me to conceive or consider that she could have done this and not been intending to take her own life as well.
Whether Mackenzie was homicidal or suicidal.
I mean, honestly, I would argue that if it was intentional, it wasn't homicidal. I would say it was more suicidal because she went into that shit like head on. As a driver, she went in there head on. So if you're going in there head on, you can't really decide as to whether or not you're not gonna be, destroyed like everybody else is. You can't choose who gets the worst of it, especially if you're in the front of the car. You're going head on, you're in the front of the car. Like you can't choose who survives or not. So you can't be like, oh yeah, I did this intentionally to hurt them, and I was gonna survive. You can't decide that if you driving head on into a wall. So she was probably willing to take her own life in the process. That's what I would think if it was intentional.
To us, didn't matter. Mackenzie had a death mission that day, and I don't think Mackenzie cared who was going to die in that car.
And prosecutors had the car's event data recorder, the so-called black box, to prove it.
The black box in this car recorded the last 5 seconds leading up to impact. It took that car 20 to 25 seconds to get up to that speed.
She had 100% acceleration and 100% force applied to the pedal, and she not one time had ever applied the brake.
Not
one time had ever applied the brake.
Damn, she didn't even try to brake.
She had time to formulate the decision. She had time to stop herself if she wanted to, and she did not.
Now look how fast she went.
And she did not.
You could see she ran into a sign. Damn, she hit a sign right there. Boom, she hit the sign and then the wall. Did she even know the wall was there? It was so dark, she probably didn't even know the wall was there. That's crazy.
Dominic and Davion, they didn't have their seatbelts on. To me, I always thought that meant that it was very likely they saw what was happening. It's likely they were trying to do something to avert their fate, but that it was just too late.
The totality of this evidence just really, really hammered in the fact that this, even though nobody really wanted this to be a terrible, horrible, purposeful double homicide, it was. That's exactly what it was.
3 months later, Mackenzie Shirilla was placed under arrest.
Hi, Mackenzie. Step out for me. I'm Detective Jesus. I'm the one who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2. Okay?
Wait, hold on. I'm confused.
Nobody's gonna ask you any.
I thought they said she broke her leg or something like that. How come she don't got no brace? Or nothing like that. It's like 3 months later. She could just walk fine.
She weaponized that car. She used that car as a weapon to take Dominic's life. I don't think she ever even considered Davion for a second.
Case number 679612.
Oh, they're saying that she took her boyfriend's life, and she didn't even think about the other dude. The other dude was just, what do you call it? Casualty. What do you call it? What do you call it? He's just a random casualty for just being there.
Down for juvenile detention.
Because she was 17 when the crash happened, Mackenzie was charged as a juvenile.
If my boy is having a toxic relationship with his girl, where she's saying stuff like threatening to kill him and all this extra stuff, when it's that type of talk, I'm not going in no car where she's the one driving. Because if they get into an argument while they're driving, I'm in the backseat looking crazy.
She would have been facing a prison sentence up to her 21st birthday. That's the maximum she would have been looking at.
It appeared she just thought this was not going to be a big deal, that she was just going to go on living her life.
We had a 3-day hearing at juvenile court where we have to convince the juvenile judge that we've got good evidence to proceed and allow her to be tried as an adult for murder.
Once the case was moved out of juvenile court, Mackenzie's parents were able to hire a well-known Ohio defense lawyer, who then tried to negotiate a plea deal.
Mackenzie Shirilla had offered essentially what would have amounted to juvenile probation as a penalty that she was willing to take on. We allow the victims' families to have a lot of input on this, and nobody was interested in that. They felt like she had murdered their sons and loved ones, and they did not want her to walk off with a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, that would be too crazy.
Mackenzie Shirilla would be prosecuted as an adult,
facing
a possible sentence of life in prison.
Bro, she killed 2 people, bro. Intentional
well,
or
the trial
not?
for a Strongsville teen charged with murder in a deadly crash is going on today, day one.
The parents of the young men who were killed attended court every day.
Intentional or
We
not, bro?
felt
that's
that
two
our
lives.
son didn't have a voice anymore and that he needed us to fight for that justice, to fight for truth.
We thought it was interesting that she showed up wearing some sort of cast or brace on her arm. We didn't find any medical reason for that.
Mackenzie
Wait,
chose
hold up. When she got arrested, did she have anything on her arm when she got arrested? Hold up. Where's the video when she got arrested? Right here, right? Let's see. We're at 2440. 2440. Let me see.
I'm Detective. I'm Mackenzie. Step out for me. I'm Detective Jesus. I'm the one.
I don't see any brace. I don't see any brace on her.
One who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest
I don't see any arm brace. You guys see an arm brace?
for aggravated murder. Time.
What does this shirt says? I'm something boy. What does the shirt say?
Two. Okay. Nobody's gonna ask you any questions.
She weaponized that car. She used that car as a
What does that shirt say?
weapon to take Dominic's life. I don't think she ever even considered Davion for a second.
I don't know what that shirt says, but anyway, she wasn't wearing no brace when she got arrested.
That she showed up wearing some sort of cast or brace on her arm. We didn't find any medical reason for that.
Mackenzie chose to forego a trial by jury, choosing a bench trial. The judge would decide her fate.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Mr. McDonald. On July 31st, a Sunday morning, 6:15 in the morning, Strongsville police and emergency personnel received a 911 call that there was a single car high-impact collision.
Prosecutor Tim Troop went immediately to the accident scene photos and the surveillance video of the actual crash.
To see that video, that was the first time that we saw the actual crash video that showed the horrifying last few moments of my son and Dominic's life. There was, no other explanation, no other logical explanation than this was done on purpose. And it just was shocking, absolutely shocking.
This data shows strikingly 100% acceleration through the entire final 5 seconds. It also shows no service brake was deployed during that final 5 seconds.
Damn.
And as soon as the prosecutor began the opening arguments narrating the details of the deadly crash, she broke down into tears.
You will hear a little bit about the relationship between the defendant and Dominic. We will play the video.
Oh, wait. What was that on the screen that he just showed? Hold up. Let's see. I do not have a condition that results in episodic impairment of consciousness or loss of muscular control. I do not have a physical or mental condition that prevents me from exercising reasonable and ordinary control of a motor vehicle. Okay, so they basically just, I guess these are comments from her that they're using to basically say that she has no physical impairment excuse that would stop her from being able to press the brakes or even drive a vehicle correctly.
The videos that Dominic Russo recorded in the weeks leading up to this fatal crash, this is the defendant's version of what happened on July 31st. I don't remember the accident. All I remember is turning on the street and then my vision fading into black.
I don't know. I thought I found it when I asked you what made you start speeding. That's a good question. I don't know who texted her that. That was a good question. What made you start speeding? And she said, I don't remember the accident. All I remember is turning on the street and then my vision fading into black. What does that mean? You just got upset and got blacked out? I wish I could remember it. It would make me feel a little bit better. This is someone who's driving at 17. That means they've been driving for probably less than a year. 'Cause I think the age that you can get your driver's license is like 16, right? Or at the very least, that's the age you can start like you can start practicing. Like you can get your permit, right? Your learner's permit. And this is in what, Ohio? I remember I got my driver's license back in Detroit, and I remember you get your learner's permit at 16, and I think you was able to start driving at 18. I don't know if you was able to drive on your own before 18. But anyway, she's driving at 17, and this is what she does. Within a year, probably, of driving. Let's see, if you end up finding it, can you please let me know? I don't know what they're looking for. Can I come to his house soon, please? How have you been? What's this? Oh, on God, I was gonna text you 6 this morning, but didn't want to wake you. I wanted to thank you and your mom for the pictures. I didn't see yours today's later. I've been so out of it. I don't know who she's texting here.
Your Honor, this is our case. This is the type of evidence that at the conclusion of putting on for you, we will ask you, Your Honor, and anticipate findings of guilt on all counts in our indictment. Thank you.
Your Honor, may it please the court. When I first got this case and saw that the charge was murder, I thought to myself, boy, if this is murder, they have to prove that Mackenzie purposely did something. So if she's driving the car and it was her purpose to kill these people, she must have wanted to kill herself too.
Yeah.
If need be, if that's the prosecutor's theory, we will put on numerous witnesses who will say that she was not suicidal. If they only have 5 seconds of recordings, how can you come to any conclusion other than, if anything, she's reckless? And for those reasons, I think that will conclude my opening statement. Thank you.
So his whole opening statement is, if she wanted to kill them, then that means that she wanted to take her own life. Which, that's what I thought too. That's what I said like 10 minutes ago, maybe. And if anything, they can't really prove that within a 5-second video. So that means the best thing you could come up to is she was reckless. I could see that. I could see that being a point. You just got a TikTok about this?
You at any point,
what up, Sky?
Provide the Strongsville Police Department with some videos that you had obtained that had conversations between Mackenzie and Dominic.
Yes.
Okay.
Prosecutors used Dominic Russo's mother, Christine, to introduce the videos Dominic recorded of his fights with Mackenzie.
Oh, man.
You are a little weak. This is your last chance to open the door. Do not open. You think I'm joking. You think I'm joking.
Okay, we heard this. We heard this before.
What does the next 10 minutes and 28 seconds contain?
It's just, it's the same thing of Mackenzie and threatening Dom.
She threatened his property? Mm-hmm. She threatened to break into his
That
house.
is so toxic, bro.
I
So
will steal your
toxic.
car if you do not let me in the house.
Kenzie, you're threatening to break out. You're like, oh, I'm gonna break the glass. And, you're threatening crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna break into your house.
Did Dominic threaten the defendant?
No.
How would you describe Dominic's tone on these videos?
Very calm.
How would you describe the defendant's tone on these videos?
Irate and angry.
Yep.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
There was...
Yeah, listen to the defense lawyer. He looks tight. He looks tight. He's defending her. He looks so tight, bro. But listen, think about it. Like, if you with somebody who, then when they get upset with you, they start threatening to destroy your property, key your car, I don't know, throw your PlayStation 5 out the window, things like that, you gotta find. First of all, you gotta document it, like what Dominic did with the video. Make a police report, so that way, if anything does turn up broken, they already know ahead of time. Hey, this is the person who was threatening to do it, so they most likely did it. And then, thirdly, you need to remove yourself from that relationship, bro. Gotta get up out of there.
No cross-examination.
Today was definitely the most emotional day of the trial so far. The prosecution played surveillance video of the crash multiple times and showed autopsy photos of the two victims.
Damn.
The parents of the two young men killed in the crash watched it all. Davion's parents, Jamie and Scott Flanagan, and Dominic's mother, Christine Russo, burying her head in a friend's shoulder.
Mrs. Russo got so upset she had to run out of the room. I was sick to my stomach at the end, just tears streaming down my face, and I can barely breathe.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth,
Yeah,
nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Just take a seat, watch the step.
Would you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Natalie Shirilla, S-H-I-R-I-L-L-A.
And do you see Mackenzie in the courtroom?
I do.
What's your relationship to her?
It's my daughter.
The second her mom took that stand, you could already see her breaking down.
Prior to the date of this accident, did you ever see or hear your daughter express suicidal thoughts?
Never.
It's been testified in the medical records that your daughter suffered from POTS. Do you know what POTS is?
Yes.
Could you please tell us what POTS is?
POTS is it's a condition where your blood pressure gets very low, and it happens sometimes when you stand up too fast, you can pass out.
Have you observed your daughter experience these symptoms?
Yes.
On how many occasions prior to this accident?
Multiple, couple for sure, multiple, yeah.
No further questions.
So they're trying to say that while she was driving, she possibly had her blood pressure get reduced randomly, and then she just blacked out, and then her foot just pressed on the gas, and caused this to happen. Is this like something that's been reported medically by doctors, or is this just, oh yeah, it's something that she always had, but we didn't go to the doctor about it, we just left it alone?
So you were aware of these POTS incidents, yet you still went to the BMV and said, give my daughter a driver's license.
Right?
Yes.
You signed off on her operating a car on the highway.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
Knowing that she had this issue?
It's not required to disclose it on a driver's permit. They didn't tell me I had to do that. I know people.
You don't need to get permission to put it on it. It's not about that. It's about the automatic. It's about the overall safety. If you know that your daughter passes out from time to time, you don't think it might be a bad idea to have her driving? Like you don't. Like I think that's common sense, right? Depending on how often this happens.
That have POTS and don't have it on theirs.
But this is your daughter, and you're giving your blessing to her for years to operate a car, correct?
Yes.
You never told her not to drive the car because of this POTS diagnosis.
She's been able to manage it.
And so you're here to tell us today that you're here to tell us that this was the reason that she crashed the car into the Plitco door. Isn't that the bottom line?
It could be.
Could it be?
It could be.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any other witnesses to the
No, Your Honor.
Do you rest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, but is this a medical thing that's been documented, or is she just giving this random ass information that nobody else can verify but her?
All right, so this will be the closing arguments.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. May it please the court, opposing counsel. This video says it all. That after she turned onto this turn and she was driving the speed limit, Mackenzie Shirilla accelerated her speed. That car did not miraculously combust from 25 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour. She put her foot to that pedal and slowly pushed that gas until she reached the speed she wanted to go. No one but her did that. When you drive a motor vehicle 100 miles an hour into a brick wall, the logical result is death. And we ask that you find Mackenzie Shirilla guilty on every count. Thank you.
Your Honor, may it please the court. Opposing counsel. The photographs, horrific. But that doesn't have anything to do with the what is the ultimate decision you have to come with here. And we are really never going to know what happened in that car. Could Dominic have grabbed the steering wheel? I don't know.
Even if he grabbed the steering wheel, he didn't step on the gas. So the car went straight. There's nothing about grabbing the steering wheel. The car went straight. The car didn't like swerve and hit a tree or swerve off the highway and fall off a cliff. The car went straight for like 2 blocks into a wall. Even if he grabbed the steering wheel, he just held it straight? You ain't gonna make a turn at 100 miles an hour. So what's that argument gonna be?
What's to say that she didn't panic and think knew she was going too fast, tries to get off, and just goes even harder on the...
What? What kind of sense does that make he's trying to say? No, wait, let me. He got to say that again. That sounds like a stupid argument to me. Hold up.
She didn't panic and think knew she was going too fast, tries to get off, and just goes even harder on the gas. We don't know that.
What? What the hell is he saying, bro? Ain't no way. I gotta hear that stupid statement again.
In that car. Could Dominic have grabbed the steering wheel? I don't know. What's to say that she didn't panic and think knew she was going too fast, tries to get off, and just goes even harder on?
She panicked, knew she was going too fast, tried to get off the gas, I'm guessing, but then went harder on the gas. What is that? What sense does that make, bro? I think they didn't spend enough money on a lawyer. I think they didn't spend enough money on a lawyer. I don't know who this guy is. He's stuttering. He's not making any sense, bro. I don't think he even believes what he's saying.
The gas. We don't know that, but that's just as possible as anything. So, Judge, I think the state has failed to meet their burden of proof, except as it comes to the counts of where the reckless, the aggravated vehicular homicide, as well as the count of possession of criminal tools and possession of drugs. Thank you. I think...
Wait. What he said about the drugs?
So, Judge, I think the state has failed to meet their burden of proof, except as it comes to the counts of where the reckless, the aggravated vehicular homicide, as well as the count of possession of criminal tools and possession of drugs. Thank you.
He's only saying that they got reasons for the drugs and the vehicular homicide because those are lesser offenses, and that's what he wants her to be charged with. He doesn't want her to be charged with attempted murder or whatever in the first degree or even second degree murder. I'm not gonna lie, his arguments are bad, bro.
I think the evidence is clear, Your Honor, that this catastrophe took place at the conclusion of a rocky and tumultuous relationship between Mackenzie Shirilla and Dominic Russo. I don't want it to be lost on whatever happened, Judge, was because of that relationship. That is why this took place. And what about Davion? He's just cargo in the backseat. No consideration at all. No reason to take Davion's life. Whatever she had in for Dominic, he was just along with his friend and just got sucked into a toxic relationship.
Yep.
And just got in the wrong backseat that night. Thank you, Your Honor. We ask you to find her guilty on all counts.
I'm not gonna lie, that's what it kind of feels like.
The judge says she'll deliver a verdict on Monday at 1 p.m.
When you say Monday, do you mean like... Okay,
there was
okay.
many sleepless nights. It was hard to sleep because you just didn't know what the judge was going to decide.
It was through the weekend, and then Monday was the verdict.
This trial is a culmination of decisions made by one person. And
Those decisions have forever altered the futures of 3 families.
She had written notes and started to give her thoughts on the case in its entirety. And so for the first couple minutes, we weren't sure where she was going with this.
The video clearly shows the purpose and intent of the defendant. She chose a course of death and destruction.
As the judge was reading off the verdict, I saw Mackenzie mouth something along the lines of, "Oh my gosh."
She morphs from a responsible driver to literal hell on wheels as she makes her way down the street. She had a mission and she executed it with precision. The mission was death. Mackenzie alone decided to push the pedal to the floor, demand the ultimate speed of that vehicle to 90 to 100 miles per hour. Totality of the evidence clearly demonstrates Mackenzie Shirilla acted purposely and intentionally. In the early morning hours of July 31st, 2022, and her purpose was to kill Dominic Russo from Davion.
The verdict, when she's finally being read these things from the judge, she and her mother seem to be in utter shock and disbelief.
This was not reckless driving. This was murder. Count 1. The court, having had count 1 tried to...
Count 1. That's murder in the first degree, I believe. That means that it was intentional, from like she intended to do it. This wasn't like it just happened. It was intentional.
Pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder to wit Dominic Russo. Count 2. Finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder to wit Davion Flanagan. Thank you.
Thank you. Damn, now she about to get arrested. Handcuffs.
I love you, baby.
I think I squeezed my wife's hand very hard because it was such a relief of so much. It just seemed to wash away when we heard.
Hold real quick. We got to look at her defense lawyer's face while all this is happening. Oh, we gotta look at his face the whole time. We gotta look at his face. We gotta do a rematch on his face.
Purpose and intent of the defendant. She chose a course of death and destruction.
As the judge was reading off the verdict, I saw Mackenzie mouth.
Responsible driver to literal hell on wheels.
I gotta see the defense
She
lawyer's
makes her way
face.
down the street.
There he is.
She had a mission and she executed it with precision. The mission was death. Mackenzie alone decided to push the pedal to the floor.
He don't look surprised at all, bro. The defense lawyer does not look surprised at all. I think this was one of those type of situations where you are a defense lawyer defending somebody who you know is guilty. And you're looking at everything, you're like, damn, I don't know how I'm supposed to prove that this is not what it is, because it clearly looks like what it is. You know what I mean? And that's why his argument points were so trash. Oh, what if we don't know if Dominic grabbed the steering wheel? If he grabbed the steering wheel, what he did, held it straight, it doesn't stop the vehicle from him grabbing the steering wheel doesn't make the vehicle go faster. You know what I mean? She's in complete control as to whether the vehicle moves or stops. So that's not an argument. I think he just knew, like, yeah, I know my argument was trash because I ain't had no argument.
Demand the ultimate speed of that vehicle to 90 to 100 miles per hour.
Look at his face.
Totality of the evidence clearly demonstrates Mackenzie Shirilla acted purposely and intentionally. In the early morning hours of July 31st, 2022, and her purpose was to kill Dominic Russo from Davion.
Look at his face.
Verdict, when
His face is the same way the entire time.
she's finally being read these things from the judge, she and her mother seem to be in utter shock and disbelief.
This was not reckless driving. This was murder. Count 1. The court, having had count 1 tried to pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder to wit Dominic Russo. Count 2. Finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder to wit Davion Flanagan. Thank you.
Straight face, bro. Straight face the entire time, bro.
Thank you. I love you, baby.
I think I squeezed my wife's hand very hard because
And I'm not saying this like, oh, he's a terrible lawyer. You know what I mean? Who doesn't care. I'm saying this because I think he just knew that that was gonna be the verdict before they walked back in there. I think he just knew, like, yeah, I didn't really have much to go off of to help her because it just looked bad for her. And I wish they went more into like the text messages leading up to, as far as like the timeline of the text messages that was looking really bad for her up until the day. Now, I guess you could say 2 weeks before the crash, they did say that Dominic was in a car with her and he was complaining to someone through, I think, either text or through a phone call that Mackenzie was driving crazy and he was scared for his life, and she made it seem like she was going to crash the car and kill both of them. And that was like 2 weeks before. And again, I have to say, if that's the situation, then why are you getting back into a car with her? Why are you getting back into a vehicle with her after having a situation like that happen?
It was such a relief of so much. It just seemed to wash away when we heard that verdict.
Today is an emotional and a stressful day for 3 families, and for the defendant, and for those who care for Davion, Dominic, and Mackenzie. I'm now prepared to hear from anybody who would like to speak on behalf of the state.
Is this the sentencing?
My son Davion is and always will be so much more than cargo. He was precious. He was an amazing soul with a heart of gold. We will make sure your memory lives on, and we ache for the day that we are united again in eternity. Thank you.
I'm Christine Russo. I'm Dominic's mother. No one wanted this to be a murder or to punish Mackenzie Shirilla for this accident. But this was not a car accident. The evidence and science proved that Mackenzie Shirilla murdered my son, Dominic, as well as Davion. We all know what happened in that car that day. What we don't know is why. Social media has made a game out of the life of Mackenzie and is making a game out of this heart-wrenching tragedy. Mackenzie, going to prison because you did this. Be thankful that you're still alive and have a future, whatever that may be. Mackenzie showed no mercy on Dominic, nor did she on Davion. Only God at this time can have mercy on her soul. Thank you.
Your Honor, this was a terrible, tragic nightmare accident to have happened that she has no memory of, and she will never emotionally or physically recover from it.
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about the 2 dead people.
Dominic, okay, I'm asking you for leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. And I'm so sorry.
What does that mean? His life is worthless?
No.
Damn, yo, the judge is not having it, bro. The judge is not trying to hear none of that. Sheesh. Yo, the judge is not trying to hear none of that. Well, I'm hearing a lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing nothing about the 2 victims. What do you mean because he's a new friend? Because he's a new friend, his life doesn't matter? Damn, yo, the judge is not trying to hear it, bro. Sheesh.
No. God, no, not at all. I understand what it looks like. I'm saying that it was a tragic accident. She would never.
Well, we're going to have to disagree on that.
I understand.
Right.
Damn.
That's all. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I love you. Is there anyone else?
I would like
Damn, the judge wasn't trying to hear none of that.
Mackenzie to address the court.
Wow. The judge was like, bro, I don't know what you talking about. You trying to say what? Because he's new? He's a new friend. His life don't matter? What are you talking about, man? We hearing a lot about this. We're not hearing enough about that. Yo, that judge was not playing, bro. No mercy.
The families of Dom and Davion, so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davion. We were all friends, and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away, and I'm so sorry. And to my family, thank you for the support and all the love you guys give. Thank you for fighting for me. I love you all so much. I'm done. Thank you.
I understand that the pain in this room wants me to impose the harshest sentence. But I don't believe that would be the appropriate sentence, because I do believe that Mackenzie will not be out in 15 years. So she's sentenced on count 2, the murder of Davion Flanagan, 15 years to life. She's sentenced on count 1, the murder of Dominic Russo, 15 years to life, to be served.
Is it going to be served like together as one, or is it going to be on top of each other? Because if it's on top of each other, it's going to be at least 30 years. But if it's together, then that means it's 15 years.
Concurrent to each other.
Concurrent? Doesn't that mean it's just as if it's just one rather than 2 people dead?
I'll be honest, we were taken aback that the sentences were run concurrently.
Wow.
We were taken aback. She is essentially serving the same sentence that she would have if only one of the boys had been in the car. That's hard to stomach.
Yeah, that's tough. It kind of makes you feel like, oh, was my son not worth a sentencing? It's like you only sentence her for one person. You know what I mean? Now here's the thing. Some people might feel like, hey, she 17, and they might also think, oh, well, yeah, they wasn't able to prove that she passed out. Because I'm not gonna lie, yeah, sure, I'm trying to figure out how to say this because it feels like, yeah, they showed a lot of evidence of her being angry in the past and threatening to do such a thing in the past. But it's like, I guess I'm trying to see how the judge could have viewed this to be lenient. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time. Not gonna lie, I'm having a hard time figuring out how the judge could have been lenient. Because if she wasn't threatening to do this in the past, then I could say, all right, maybe she blacked out, but we just can't prove it. And because we can't prove it, maybe we just let her do half the time. But because she threatened to do this in the past, and there's recordings of her threatening to hurt him, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to like argue it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
We are just thankful that we feel justice was served today. There's not a day that goes by that we don't miss our son, and justice was served for him today. But honestly, there's no winners here. There's no winners here today.
His parents, Jamie and Scott, are honoring their son through a scholarship fund. Davion's dream was to become a barber and someday start his own barber shop. Even
a barber? What is he, Dominican?
Even though he could never fulfill his dream, his family has started the scholarship to help others go to barber school to keep the dream going.
He would be honored.
He would be absolutely honored. Davion always said we were his second chance. Being adopted was his second chance. That to me would be...
I'm not gonna lie, he looks Dominican. He looks Dominican as hell. You know, them Dominican, they love to cut hair, bro. All they love to do is cut hair and play baseball.
Making the most good out of a truly terrible and horrific situation.
Nah, that's crazy, bro. Oh, man, bro. 15 years to life. So what does that mean? Good behavior? Is it possible that she'll be let go from prison before 15 years? Let me ask Google. It says no, they cannot be released before the 15-year mark. In a 15 years to life sentence, the 15 years is the mandatory minimum period that must be served bars before becoming eligible for parole. Good behavior can help them get paroled at the 15-year mark rather than later, but it cannot reduce the sentence below. Okay. So that means it's a 15-year minimum, which means if she ain't acting crazy in jail, that means if this happened, I don't know when she got sentenced, but it says 2022 that this accident happened, if you would have called it an accident. 15 years from then would be 2037. So it's a good chance that by 2040 she could be out, the latest, right? It's a good chance that by 2040 the latest she can be out, depending on if they're counting the time that she's been arrested. So, man, that's crazy, man. Sh- sh- That's crazy. She'll probably be out just in time to play The Witcher 4. It's kind of crazy, bro. Hit a like on this video, man. Law and crime. I literally just found out about this today too. That's crazy, bro.